And we're live. We are live, and we have three more bills, two more to go through this afternoon. So we're going to continue our testimony on 710. This is an act relating to defining electricity generating facilities. This is the bill that said basically, if you've got two solar arrays that are built next to each other, they're built at the same time, that they can be considered one array for the sake of, right now they have to put in two roads, driveways, and two transmission lines, which adds to the cost, which just up in your bill. So this just says if two are next to each other, then they can be considered as one, as I remember it. But we are still taking testimony. So we have Annette Smith. And Annette, you're with us today. I hope it's warm down there as it is up here.
It's lovely outside.
Good. It looks lovely behind you, but the trees are out.
Well, I couldn't figure out if I should do a spring shot or a summer shot, but that's Danby.
Yeah. Okay. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Annette Smith. I'm Executive Director of Vermonters for a Clean Environment, and I appreciate the opportunity to testify on H710 today. I'm going to share my screen. And this bill has had very little testimony, and it is far more complicated than I think you understand. So I'm going to explain one specific situation to you. This is a prominently visible hillside in Bennington. It's north of the Welcome Center, and it is on what's called Apple Hill. It is the subject of two proposed solar projects.
Okay.
And they are side by side. So let's see if I can get them. There you go.
Okay, yeah.
Under the current definition, these are a single plant. Under the proposed new definition, these are not a single plant. Each of these projects has been denied once on orderly development and aesthetics. The one on the upper left has been denied once as a single plant. Each of these projects is currently the subject of litigation at the Public Utility Commission. This is perhaps one of the most complicated and unusual situations that anyone has ever seen in Vermont. And it dates back to 2013, when the Public Utility Commission denied the standard offer contract for the lower project and approved the standard offer contract for the upper project. The applicant appealed to the Vermont Supreme Court, saying that they are accessed by separate roads, interconnecting at separate points, even though they're on the same parcel owned by the same entity. And the Supreme Court accepted that, and based on the definition, denied or reversed the PUC and told them to issue the certificate or the standard offer contract. Problem was that this road at the top on the upper didn't exist. So when the application was filed for, it used a different set of roads and site clearings. And that was the initial one. And then it was reapplied for with these two projects using these roads. Then it was the upper one was litigated, and that was denied in 2016. The applicant then submitted 17 motions that the PUC took over a year to respond to, and they were allowed to resubmit smaller, different sizes, and so they resubmitted this. And those then used the same road, and The upper one was denied on single plant, and the lower one was denied, or was after 3 visits to the Supreme Court. These projects had been to the Supreme Court about 6 times. After 3 visits to the Supreme Court, they were the lower one was denied. And then they came back. So currently, the projects that are pending are shown in red. And this situation has resulted in the town of Bennington being sued a couple of times in the Superior Court, settling with the applicant twice, um, also in the Federal District Court and the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. In addition, the governor, the Agency of Natural Resources, the Public Utility Commission, the Bennington County Regional Commission, the Select Board members in Bennington, Planning Commission, Solar Siting Committee members in Bennington, the Homeowners Association of Apple Hill Homeowners up above, and other individuals have all been sued. Most people don't want to talk about this in public because there's a risk of being sued. I take a risk testifying to you today about this. My point in bringing this to your attention is that this is an extremely litigious applicant. There is currently a petition of misconduct related to the activities that have occurred around these sites. And in response to that, the applicant is also the owner of all the companies and is the lawyer, and he does these with his son, who's also a lawyer. He has sued the hearing panel, the Professional Responsibility Board. He has sued the members of or people involved in the Professional Responsibility Board in the Federal District Court, and he's asked all of the Vermont Federal District Court judges to recuse themselves. So my point is that if you change the definition right now, it is going to provide more opportunity for more litigation. These projects they do appear to be winding down, and it seems imprudent to enable more litigation by changing the definition, by allowing yet more new process to occur. There's currently a case in federal district court. An amendment could be filed. This is, as I said, a very unusual situation, but it is one that has gone on for 13 years, and it raises the issue of finality. The people in Bennington really need this to stop. And the only way it's going to end is if whatever is happening is brought to a conclusion. If this definition is changed right now, I don't think anybody can predict what will happen except to say that every opportunity for more litigation has been taken, and in ways that I don't think anyone could have imagined. And so as you noted, Senator Cummings, I submitted 5 files to you. Those are not things I intend to go through today, but they are for your information because this issue of finality is one that is addressed in zoning. There's something called a successive application doctrine. Apparently, there's a way in Act 250. There is no precedent in the PUC for what happens with these successive applications.
Well, we could set one.
And well, at this point, there are other concerns about this bill beyond this specific case. And that is 3 of the files that you have are the result of a lot of work on my part, where I went to every single solar project, 1 megawatt to 5 megawatts, and they're in 3 different files just because they are, 30 pages, 40 pages to a file. Just to give you an example, I wanted to see okay, if we're going to expand a project by up to 5 megawatts, what does it look like? The majority of the projects are on prime ag soils or on ag soils. There's also, I submitted 2 presentations I gave to the Senate Ag Committee this year, and they are, the Senate Ag Committee has been very concerned about the loss of solar. Ryan Patch of the Agency of Food and Markets has given very compelling presentations into the Climate Council, to the Land Use Review Board, to wherever anybody will listen, to the alarming loss of agricultural soils. And unfortunately, that portion of the bill got taken out, and so there is no activity but on protecting ag soils in the legislature this year. But this proposal would allow for not only those 108 1 to 5 megawatt projects to have more projects next to them, but in addition, there are 450 projects, 150 kilowatts to 999 kilowatts, and there are 384 projects, 50 to 149, for a total of 943 projects that could be added to under this bill. Now, this has land use implications. It has implications for the community. I have run into other situations where people say, wait, they said that they weren't going to expand, and then they come back with another one. So imagine that someone has gone through a contested case at the PUC and they thought it was over, and now they have to come back and do it again and get thrown in that virtual
Because they
volcano.
have to be built at the same time. So you can't, if you're built, you've got a permit, then they have to be done at the same time. You can't come back in 3 years.
No, I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's what this bill is
I
about.
have to check that with our council, but that was my understanding when she went through it.
When this came out in the House, I was confused, and I really did not know what to make of it. I found this to be confusing, and I participated in the workshops the PUC held too. And I filed comments saying I don't think this should be done right now until the litigation is resolved. And they said we don't have a choice. The legislature told us to do it. Um, so the idea and what's been presented in committees is that you have an existing project that has already gone through the process. It has a road, it has poles and wires, and now you're going to have to uh, change the layout in order to add to it. So no, it is very definitely to be able to add to existing projects. It raises land use issues. It raises the whole process issue about Section 248, and added to that the litigation problem. And it's an issue that really needs more testimony. I mean, the maps that I'm giving you, that the aerial images that show the various arrays, really belong in this Natural Resources Committee, and I was preparing to testify there when all of a sudden the bill jumped here. There is another aspect of this bill, and that is that the single plant legislation was initially about wind turbines, and nobody's talking about that. But this would enable somebody to come in with a big wind turbine and then, using the same road and the same power line, say, oh, I'm going to add another one. Now I'm going to add another one. Now I'm going to add another one. And apparently the whole purpose of this initially was so that if you're going to do a plant of wind turbines, that you do a plant of wind turbines, and you can't expand it later. So I do understand the rationale for this, but I have real concerns about this being passed into law with all of the unintended or consequences. First of which is what's going to happen with the litigation in Bennington, and that is a very serious issue for the town of Bennington, for the people who have been dragged through this for 13 years. You cannot imagine what it's been like to have the town sued. The petition of misconduct explains what happened with the Ben High project being interfered with, and why the town had to settle. It's really something that should override everything until that litigation is over. Please do not open the door for more opportunities for litigation. And thank you very much for the time.
Okay, thank you. Committee.
It does say, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I wrote that up.
When each is constructed.
So that is not how I understood the testimony, so I think we are not going to vote that up today.
May I offer, the people who are having to deal with, because everyone else who were parties to these cases have had to drop out. The only one left is the Department of Public Service. At the federal level, the Attorney General's office is having to defend these cases. At the Department of Public Service, there are two attorneys. There are two attorneys at the Public Utility Commission. It's an open case. They probably can't talk about it. But the Department of Public Service has not been heard on this single plant legislation.
Okay, no, we have, the question is, are we going to deal with it? Are we going to send it over to natural resources? And that's gone back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I haven't talked to our chair about this particular.
I don't talk to her, and to date, we have not heard anyone that disliked it, but I think we will have the Public Utility Commission and see if somebody from the PUC can talk to us about this one.
Okay,
And
I should add that last year, PUC Chair McNamara came into the one of these committees to talk about the proposal to bring back the standard offer program, and that resulted in this litigant trying to get him and Commissioner Cheney recused from his cases, and they had to bring former Chair Volz and former Chair Roisman in to address that. So that's why I say everybody's kind of nervous about speaking about this.
really bad apple, so. We will hold on to this one. We'll send a note down to the town of Bennington and see if anyone there, their town attorney would like to talk.
The town attorney's in the hot seat too.
Yeah,
It's this very, very tricky territory.
okay. And I think the question is, would this impact that current litigation?
I think the only ones who have not been sued, I mean, VTrans has been sued over some other issues on the other side of Route 7. DPS may be one of the few that hasn't been sued, the Department of Public Service. Yeah.
So maybe that's.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was a good heads up.
Mm.
Okay, 9:40, and we are ahead.
We have Darren at 3.
Darren's in the waiting.
Yes, 3.
I just let him.
room.
Got Darren and there he is. Welcome. And we're back to 9:40. I think this committee is going to deal with two issues. One is allowing the city, allowing Burlington Electric to expand or continue using its thermal credits to. So just fill us in on what you're asking, and then this bill, the bulk of it is going over to natural resources.
Very good. Thank you so much for allowing me to join by Zoom this afternoon. I'm Darren Springer, General Manager with Burlington Electric Department. If it's okay, I would share some slides very briefly.
Yes, very good.
Okay. Let me go ahead and do that. I think they've been submitted as well to the committee. But let me pull those up. And here we go. Okay, you can see those, yeah?
Yes,
Excellent. Okay. Just very briefly for anyone who may not be fully familiar with us, we are the municipal electric utility for the city of Burlington. We are the third largest utility in the state and the largest municipal. We also, for purposes of this conversation, serve as the energy efficiency utility for the city of Burlington and provide services to our customers similar to how Efficiency Vermont provides services elsewhere in the state. We are about almost 22,000 customers. About 60% of our residential customers are renters, which is unique relatively in the state. And we are 100% renewable since 2014. So a little bit about us. And we're here today to talk about Section 1 of H940, which is the energy efficiency provisions. Just to touch on the challenge for a moment, why we're here. When legislation was drafted for the use of the TEPF funds, the thermal energy process fuel funds that are allocated to the efficiency utilities, to Burlington Electric, to Efficiency Vermont, The language in 30 VSA 209 specified that the TPF funds would be used for unregulated fuel customers, which is propane, oil, wood, kerosene. And in Burlington, relatively, again, uniquely, we have near universal natural gas service for our customers. Well over 95% of our service territory is served by natural gas, and that's a regulated fuel. And so we have very few unregulated fuel customers to serve with TEPF. And so for a number of years, there's been provisions made by the legislature to allow us to use these funds in more flexible ways. The most recent iteration of that was what was called the Energy Efficiency Modernization Act, which was contained in Act 44 of 2023 and Act 142 of 2024. And what you all did through those pieces of legislation is gave us the ability during our current 3-year energy efficiency performance period, which is 2024 through 2026, to use the TEPF funds more broadly to help all of our customers and to use the funds to support programs that help reduce emissions in the thermal and the transportation sectors. And Act 142 also made clear that BED could propose additional programs for the upcoming performance period, the 2027 to 2029 period, but we would need legislative approval to be able to implement continued flexibility. And the artwork here, just as a side note, is from our 4th grade public school students here in Burlington. We have a net zero calendar contest every year, and I love showcasing their creative art sometimes in our slide presentations. So H940 incorporates this flexibility for Burlington, and it also represents a compromise between what we had initially proposed and what the Department of Public Service was supportive of. So we worked very closely with the Department of Public Service in the House Energy and Digital Infrastructure Committee process. And the outcome of that compromise is included in H940 Section 1. First and most importantly, allows us to continue to serve all of our customers through the TEPF program instead of just those few who have unregulated fuel service. This is not creating any new revenue streams or any new costs. This is all money that we currently have and revenue that we currently receive. But as we noted in our filings for our next 3-year performance period at the PUC, and those are called the Demand Resource Plan. That's the plan that allows us to spend efficiency funds over a 3-year period. This legislation would allow us to invest approximately $1.7 million of our TEPF funds over the next 3-year period in a flexible way. And we're going to support customer weatherization and greenhouse gas emission reduction projects through this effort. One particular aspect is we'll be able to continue, at least in 2027, to support boosted electric vehicle incentives, which is helpful in an environment where we've seen the federal government withdraw all support from that sector. If we didn't conversely have H940, then BED customers would see reduced incentives, significantly reduced in some cases, for EV charging at rental properties, for EV purchase and lease. We also would not be able to continue with a very successful geothermal test well program that we've been running, which is authorized under this legislation. And so to summarize my last slide here, H940, one of the important provisions that we agreed on with the department is 60% of the funds will go towards weatherization and thermal efficiency programs. And within that, there will be prioritization for our low and moderate income customers. We'll be supporting electric panel and wiring upgrades that may be necessary, and also abatement of health and safety issues that may be preventing weatherization services from being offered currently. So that's an important set of provisions. As mentioned, we'll continue our geothermal test well program. We've been offering support for nonprofits and our high school and our businesses to drill geothermal test wells to see if they have the right access to groundwater to be able to support geothermal system. A high-profile example is that we were able to do one of those with our new high school, and the new high school is going to have and has a geothermal heating and cooling system installed. So a great opportunity there to be very energy efficient with our new high school. We support through these programs multifamily and rental property EV charging to try to make sure that renters, who again are 60% of our residential customers, have access to charging conveniently for electric vehicles the same way that homeowners can have. And we continue, as I mentioned, our boosted EV incentives. And we work with our commercial sector customers when there are innovative opportunities to support custom projects in the commercial sector. So those are the set of programs we'll be looking to continue and improve upon as we go forward into 2027 to 2029 with H940. And I will stop sharing here and would be glad to answer any questions if the committee has them.
Questions?
Sure, I will. Yeah, Darren's my constituent. So hi, Darren, it's Martine. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for the testimony and highlighting the Burlington High School geothermal. I think Integrated Arts Academy also got some geothermal a couple years ago or last year.
That's right.
I'm just wondering, is there anything in the bill that you take issue with or would like to, add comment on that might not be quite as glowing as your testimony, which was excellent, by the way, but anything else?
Well, I to be honest, I haven't really looked at the other sections of the bill closely because they don't necessarily pertain to our work as much. I think I would offer that the proposal that's here is different from what we initially proposed, but we had a really good faith working opportunity with the Department of Public Service, and I support fully the language that's in there now. I think it's a good balance between supporting additional weatherization and thermal efficiency work, which I know is a priority for the department and which we also support, of course, and keeping flexibility for us to be able to do some of those other innovative programs that we've had on the books for several years now, continue to support our customers. So we think it's a good mix and we're supportive of the Section 1 as drafted.
Great, thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not seeing any other questions. Do we know if Ellen is? We needed, did she send us an amendment?
You let Darren go.
We can let Darren go unless he wants to stay.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you have any follow-up questions for us at any time, just let me know.
I think this bill is on its way to natural resources, because that's most of what's in the bill. Passed by House, no, I've got 940 and 710. I don't have any amendments. I just asked for who's available to offer.
The Telecommunications and Connectivity Advisory Board is repealed. Is that a board that has not met? Okay. Yay, we're repealing a board, Senator. I think I mentioned that to you last time I did this. Senator Brown loves to repeal them.
And I assume we are going to approve Burlington Electric's continuation of what they're doing, since they don't have any unregulated fuel sources up there. Well, good. And yeah, Vermont Gas also is an efficiency utility. They have 3. But if Ellen has those 2 essentially one-liners,
Right, were there changes? Were there technical changes or?
no, we're I guess we need to, yes, we need. Are they? Let's see.
Well, the elimination of the board's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So
it's
that's-
in there and that's it. Okay,
Yeah, Section 5 repeals it.
No.
and the last section does, or Section 2 does Burlington Electric.
So were those the only 2 sections that were ours?
Yeah, everything else, fuel funds for greenhouse gas emissions,
Section 1.
adoption to regional plan.
That's
All the rest of it, review and consultation, municipal planning efforts, it's all planning.
yeah. There's sections in here that are amending the same sections of law that we amended in 305, and that's why, or 325. So that's why we want to make sure that we're.
Well, the plan is that we're gonna vote this out and we're going to ask to have it committed to the Committee on Natural Resources.
Would you like a motion?
I would love a motion. We need that.
I would move, that we approve, H 940 as passed by the House, and that we recommend that it be committed to this committee on the Senate Natural Resources with the Finance.
Committee report on
Report
TAC,
on that.
even though we haven't amended it. Okay. Is there further discussion? Is there further amendment? If not, although, call the roll.
Call scroll.
Yeah, it's more than 2 pages.
Senator Chait.
Yep.
Senator Beckman.
Yes.
Senator Hardy.
Yes.
Senator Brock.
Yes.
Senator Gulick.
Yes.
Senator Meadows, yes. Senator Cummings.
Yes. 700. I could take that up because I've talked to the secretary about it. He put me down as order. And I believe that is it. We are done.
Wow.